Thank you for joining us. My name is Mazino Appeal. Now, our coverage tonight begins with update on the building collapse in Ibadan, the Oyo State capital, where we understand that at least 10 persons were killed while several others were injured when a building caved in on Thursday morning. The sad incident occurred following a heavy thunderstorm, which reportedly shook the building to its foundations. A statement from the Oyo State Fire Service Agency disclosed that the incident happened at Jegeda Olunloyo area in Ibadan, in Ona Ara Local Government area of the state. The statement added that while 10 persons were recovered from the debris, 7 persons were rescued alive, adding that rescue efforts are reported to be ongoing as of the time of filing in this report. Meanwhile, Chairman of Ona Ara Local Government, Temitope Kolapo-Glorious, described the incident as a disaster while assuring that mechanisms will be put in place in the locality to prevent a reoccurrence.
It was a sad event. By around 1 o'clock, it happened, and I was called around some minutes to 2 o'clock. Since then, we have been mobilizing all agencies that are on emergency management platform, and they have risen up and they came here en masse, and they did well. So the incident happened as a result of the rainfall yesterday night. During the thunderstorm, as I've learned, the building collapsed, and it trapped a lot of people inside. It was this morning that I was hearing that that house is being used to take care of, to heal some, to treat some mad people and mentally retarded people, and it made that house to harbor many people. And by now, I think about 9 are in the hospital, 9 survivors. The corpses are many. Some families have come here and picked their dead.
Away from that now, the Rivers State government has filed an appeal against the Federal High Court ruling in Abuja, which barred the Central Bank of Nigeria from disbursing allocations from the federal account to the state. This legal action comes as Governor Siminalayi Fubara reacted to a recent attempt to impeach him by the Rivers State House of Assembly, led by Speaker Martin Amaole, reportedly aligned with FCT Minister Nyesom Wike. Commissioner for Information and Communications Joseph Johnson confirmed to journalists that the state had appealed the judgment, expressing confidence that the appeal court will overturn the ruling. In her judgment, Justice Joyce Abdulmalik of the Federal High Court in Abuja ruled that Governor Fubara's presentation of the 2024 budget to only 4 members of the Rivers State House of Assembly violated the Constitution. Meanwhile, former Vice President Atiku Abubakar has voiced strong criticisms against a recent court order halting financial allocations to Rivers State, warning it could destabilize the state. In a statement released by his media advisor Paul Ibe, Atiku questioned the rationale behind the judge's decision to issue an injunction while the case is still pending before the Supreme Court. He alleged that certain elements within President Bola Tinubu's administration had influenced the judgment in an attempt to undermine the authority of the Supreme Court. Atiku commended the Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Kudirat Kekerekun, for summoning judges handling the Rivers State cases, urging them that any judges found at fault be disciplined to uphold the judiciary's integrity and restore public confidence. And now to discuss this, we're joined by a legal practitioner, Festus Ogun. Festus, you're welcome. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you very much for having me.
Yes, indeed. Now, Festus, how does the court interpretation of the Nigerian constitution regarding the role of states, assembly and budget approval align with the previous judiciary decisions and also constitutional principles?
I believe that no matter how we look at it, the Rivers government are entitled to their federal allocation without prejudice to the judgment of the Federal High Court in Abuja. I believe that regardless of the crisis amongst the political players in Rivers State, the people of Rivers State should not be denied governance. Without finances, the governance in the state is most likely going to be crippled. So are we saying that the people of the Rivers State should suffer because of crisis between political elements? I do not think so. I believe that the judiciary, that ordinarily should be the last hope of the common man, is currently causing a bit of confusion amongst the people. So I feel that the question on ground, what the people, or what we should really look at, is the interest of the Rivers people. Will this judgment in reality really serve the interest of the Rivers people, that I say, look, no federal allocation should go, the CBN should not release federal allocation to the state government, knowing that a matter is still pending before the Supreme Court, questioning whether the Jumbo-led faction of the House of Assembly is indeed valid or otherwise. In my view, I feel that indeed that faction is valid, because once you decamp to another political party, under Section 109 of the Constitution, your seat automatically becomes vacant. And the Court of Appeal has even upheld this position even in the past, that once you decamp from your political party and there is no case of defection and your party has not merged, there is no case of division and your party has not merged with another political party, then your seat becomes automatically vacant. You don't need a court order, because the Constitution didn't say you need a court order before your seat becomes vacant. Once you leave the political party that nominates you and sponsors you to your office, it becomes vacant. So in my view, I believe that those that have not decamped to their political party should be able to carry on with the activities of the Rivers State Assembly. And considering that that matter is still the constitution of the House of Assembly is a subject matter before the Supreme Court, it raises question on how another judgment will now say, look, because this set of individuals pass the budget, then the money that belongs to the Rivers State people should not come down. I mean, it's problematic, because what now happens to the judgments, the matter pending before the Supreme Court? It's become problematic.
Okay, let's talk about state autonomy now. Do you think that this decision by the court actually infringed on the financial autonomy of the state? And or do you think that the courts were within its right to try and perhaps maybe safeguard certain constitutional norms?
What I feel is that, first, this matter should not have, in good conscience, been adjudicated upon in Abuja. The crisis that is the subject matter of the suit happened in Rivers State. The parties to the suit, both the House of Assembly members, including the Rivers State governor, the Accountant General of Rivers State, they are based in Rivers State. Not just that. The Central Bank of Nigeria has office in Rivers State. Other banks that were joined as parties to the suit have offices in Rivers State. Why was the matter taken to Abuja? This is problematic. Again, these are challenges we have in our justice system, where political cases and political intentions are achieved by forum shopping. We are not casting aspersion on the person of the trial judge. No. But we are saying that in the first place, the matter should not have been instituted in Abuja. If we are going by that, then people will now be going by the kind of... So if I do not like a judge in Lagos, or a judge I feel will not give me judgment, then I go to where I will get judgment.
So this leaving the state and going to Abuja, do you think that it's been influenced in any way, shape, or form by
I would not say that it is
individuals?
Influenced, but in our profession or under our extant laws in Nigeria, that is forum shopping.
Okay.
You can't be cherry picking where you would institute your matter.
Okay.
If a course of action has occurred in Ogun State, there is a federal high court in Ogun State. I need not go to Abuja. So that raises question at a time when trust in the judiciary is very low, especially from our people. Because at the end of the day, perception is reality. When you go here, everyone is saying that the judiciary is compromised, the judiciary is corrupt. Now, a matter has commenced in Abuja, in Rivers State. We are not litigating that matter in Rivers State. We go to Abuja to litigate that matter. People will ask questions, and that is why I feel that the call by this Chief Justice of Nigeria that, look, the CJ, that's the Chief Judge of the Federal High Court, should come for, questioning over this very confusing
Confusing
judgment.
is the word.
Yeah, confusing judgment.
So now,
because with this judgment, there is a serious crisis in Rivers State when money is not...
So what remedies are open to the state now to be able to help it navigate this situation that they find themselves in with the courts?
I read this evening that the judgment has been appealed. It is important that the parties to the suit, including the governor and the Accountant General and the rest of them, they must ensure that they file an application for stay of that judgment so that the judgment will not be enforced. But that is not even all. We need to go to the root of the matter. What is the cause of the whole crisis we are talking about? Someone is behind the crisis. It is very glaring that the crisis is about the ego of a single person. So if we are talking about all of this crisis, if we are even talking about crisis in PDP, I've asked the question, if that is the basis why some people decamped, was it that the crisis in PDP started yesterday? The crisis has been there before the 2019 election, before the 2023 election. But we know that the former governor of Rivers State is at the center of the crisis. If that is the case, then we must have true conversation on how the parties involved will sit on a round table and put the state first. This is not the right time where people would, start, insisting on, their political wishes or their political ego. Well, this is the time, I believe, that the differences has to be put behind and the people of Rivers State has to be put forward. I mean, again, Festus, this is not a legal issue. I want to say it is more of a political issue.
Thank you very much for coming in this evening and giving us your fair share of your view on the situation. Thank you indeed.
Thank you for having me.
Welcome back. Now, with barely 48 hours to the local government elections in Abia State, there are still uncertainties surrounding the status of candidates of the Labour Party. The leadership of the Labour Party in the state has alleged a change of its candidates list submitted and published earlier by the electoral body. News Central's Chinwe Ogele was at a press briefing in Aba on Thursday, where the secretary and chairman of the party complained about the development.
On the 25th of October 2024, the Abia State Independent Electoral Commission published the list of candidates and parties for the local government election, wherein all participating parties were published and indicated cleared or not cleared.
I was around the corner now. That's what I'm saying. I was around the corner, so I came in.
The Labour Party says the new list published after the first is bearing different names from the ones the party presented to ABSEC before now. The Julius Abures-led executive, with Prince Ndubeze as the chairman in Oyo State, has said it will not tolerate being excluded from the elections.
Yesterday, they clandestinely brought out another list, which APSEC posted, and the list of the candidates we found there were completely different from what we presented and was acknowledged by APSEC. So they are quite alien to the party. We don't know who those individuals are. The list they had earlier published on the 25th of October are the authentic, and they not just published, they wrote, it was indicated, cleared by APSEC. They are the authentic candidates of the Labour Party for this 2nd November 2024 elections. So what we have there now is something strange to us, and that will not stand.
You know, why this confusion in Labour Party? This is the question that I stand to ask. Why this confusion in Oyo State? Why is Governor Dr. Elesiti keeping mute over these confusions in the state?
They are also threatening court action should the electoral body fail to correct the errors before the elections on Saturday.
If they win through democratic process, we congratulate them. If they foreclose the democratic process of election and any other thing happens, cause of action has arisen.
Approach the court. We have that as an alternative to approach the court based on what we have seen.
The secretary of the party is also alleging that majority of those who APSEC published as Zenith Labour Party's candidates are still card-carrying members of Labour Party.
Individuals parading themselves as candidates of another party is a clear contradiction of the Electoral Act 2022. So as of today, they are no members of the party. Some of them have even dual posters where they had that of Labour Party and eventually that of Zenith Labour Party. So it's coming to us as a rude shock and a further embarrassment. But in due course, we will also address that.
This is a totally strange situation in the history of politics in Oyo State, where the party in power has to worry about the conduct of an election even before the election. In Omaha for News Central, I am Chinwe Ugili.
Now, the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, has distributed 80 vehicles to youth within the capital as part of the Renewed Hope Empowerment Program. The minister, during the event in Abuja, says that the vehicles have been given to the youth at no cost to them, urging them to utilize the vehicles for the purpose for which they were presented. Ahmedin Uyi reports.
Buses, all the SUV and Suzuki must be taken to Guzago.
These youths are the lucky few who form part of the first phase of the Renewed Hope Youth Empowerment Program. Selected from the different area councils of Abuja, they will be receiving support from the FCT administration as it launches the empowerment program. The mandate secretary of the Youth Secretariat of the FCT highlighted the number of vehicles to be distributed at the program.
Today, we are here to witness a Renew Hope Youth Empowerment Program. The minister has approved the distribution of 80 last-mile vehicles to the FCT youth. And the distributions of these vehicles are as follows. We have 20 hires, we have 30 SUV, and we have 30 Suzuki.
He says that the program will impact tremendously on the federal capital.
After today, I want to tell you that social vices, crimes, unemployment, and self-independence has started in FCT. This is an intervention that has never happened in the history of FCT.
The minister of the FCT says that the program is proof of the president's commitments to transforming the lives of FCT residents.
Now, nobody thought about intervening as far as women are concerned. Nobody talked about intervening as far as the youth are concerned. We have had presidents, whether you like it or not. Aswaji Ahmed Bola Tinubu is not the first president that occupied FCT. But let us tell ourselves the simple truth. He's the first president who said you can't continue to talk about administration, women are not involved, youth are not.
He adds that the administration has profiled the beneficiaries, assuring residents that the FCT administration is putting efforts in place that will tackle the insecurity in the transportation sector within the capital.
Everybody here that's the beneficiary is being provided by security. And so what we are coming up from January next year, there will be nobody that will operate as a taxi driver or a bus driver without having the approval from security, without security profiling you, and without going on with Abuja color.
The minister informed the beneficiaries that the vehicles have been presented to them free of any charge to operate at several high-broad areas of the capital in order to reduce the cost of transportation. In Abuja for News Central, I am Amadin Uyi.
The National Economic Council has recommended that President Bola Tinubu withdraw the tax reform bills currently before the National Assembly to allow for broader consultations. Oyo State Governor Seyi Makinde announced the Council's resolution on Thursday after the 144th NEC meeting held at the State House in Abuja. Speaking to journalists, Makinde explained that members agreed more time was needed to build consensus and deepen public understanding of the proposed reforms. The Council's recommendations follows the recent endorsement of the tax bills by President Tinubu and the Federal Executive Council. The federal government promoted the reforms as a means to improve efficiency and reduce redundancy within Nigeria's tax system. And now to discuss this, we are joined by a certified financial educator, Kalu Aja. Kalu, you're welcome tonight. Now, let's start by asking which of the contentious issues by Nigeria's Northern Governors Forum would you say is most alarming? I think you have your device on mute. If you would please help us unmute. I'm assuming. Unfortunately, I think we'll have to come back to this because we are still not getting your communication. So let's fix that and we'll come back to you. Thank you very much. All right, just do stand by and we'll be back to you in a minute. Now, away from that, the Nigerian Immigration Service has announced the launch of a phased contactless passport renewal system set to begin in Canada on November 1, 2024. This new system allows Nigerians to renew their passports online, greatly reducing the need for in-person visits to the NIS offices. The NIS shared the announcement on its official X account. Following the rollout in Canada, the service will expand to the United Kingdom, United States, and Italy on November 15, and by December 1st, it will be available in Nigeria and other global locations. Now, Bauchi State Government in Nigeria's northeast is taking proactive measures to mitigate boundary conflicts through a sensitization program, a workshop for boundary managers. During a two-day workshop, participants, including traditional leaders from Yobe, Gombe, Taraba, Plateau, Jigawa, Kaduna, and Kano states, discussed the complexities of interstate border disputes and explored collaborative frameworks for resolution. News Central's Umaru Kirawa reports that officials reiterated the significance of community engagement in addressing these challenges, aiming to foster peace and enhance cooperation among states for the benefit of local populations.
Most of these boundaries have disappeared. Things like physical futures, seasonal streams, rivers, because of the nature of the environment, weathering and whatever, some of these things have been disappeared over the times. So our ability to revisit those areas and put a delineation as at the time needed is very important for us to be able to have something that we can reliably fall back on whatever an issue.
Philips Consulting today held its Digital Jurist Award 2024 with the theme Digital Transformation, Building Sustainable Platforms for the Future. The Digital Jurist Award, having existed for over a decade, rates organizations based on their level of adoption and use of modern touch points and provide a benchmark to assist companies to meet the demands of today's e-commerce space. News Central's Bettina Mweli reports.
Is very well represented in the innovation space.
The Digital Jurist Awards recognizes innovative professionals, firms, and tech solutions that are transforming the digital landscape. This year's event featured a lineup of distinguished speakers, industry leaders, and groundbreaking innovations.
It has to do with leadership, change management, stakeholder engagement, all the things that make digitization meaningful. That's what this event is all about. If you want to see anything like relevance in your organization or as a nation, you need to prioritize digital transformation.
And it's an opportunity for organizations to display their competency in digital platforms.
This year in 2024, we assessed and ranked about 320 organizations in 10 sectors in 4 categories. So the idea actually is to recognize and encourage those organizations who are building portals and digital platforms to support growth and development in the country.
The best website.
The awards ceremony honored several categories, including Best Website, Best Social Media, and Aviation of the Year, amongst others.
It's nice for InterSwitch to get the recognition that it deserves within the digital space. InterSwitch has been involved in a lot of digital transformation exercises over the past few years, and we're looking to do a whole lot more. So this is encouragement to even go beyond what we've done already.
Good to see a lot of my peers, a lot of people that I don't see a lot of because we're all so busy trying to bring and deliver excellence to customers and Nigeria. And it was a good congregation, good way to collaborate. And we're exceptionally happy for winning the 2 awards for digital and for websites.
The event not only showcased achievements, but also facilitated discussions on pressing issues such as data privacy and cybersecurity and ethical implications of AI in digitalization.
You must build with the consumer in mind. You must ensure that you give room for co-creation, right? So if I build A, B, what are the chances that another player would build C, D? And what are the other chances that another player would build E and F? And that way you create a monster platform that ensures that every need is incorporated.
As the digital industry continues to evolve, the Digital Jurist Awards serves as a vital reminder of the importance of innovation and adaptation in providing services in this digital age. In Lagos, for News Central, I'm Bettina Mweli.
And now we return to our story on tax reform bills as they face setback. And we had our guest from before, Mr. Kalu Aja, who had joined us earlier. Mr. Kalu, you're welcome back. Thank you for sticking around. Let's hope that we have successfully taken care of that gremlin. So from before, I was asking a question about the northern governors and the issues that they're facing. I was asking which contentious issue for you raises the most alarm? Mr. Kalu, are you there? Unfortunately, we're still having issues with Mr. Kalu joining us on the news here today. But moving on, prioritizing environmental, social, and governance practices not only enhance their appeal to investors, but also contribute significantly to sustainable development. Now, this was made known by entrepreneurs and stakeholders at the 2024 Annual Directors Conference themed Good Governance as a Catalyst for Economic Recovery, Growth, and Development. News Central correspondent Leko Onabanja was at the event and filed in this report.
The second day of the 2024 Annual Directors Conference themed Good Governance as a Catalyst for Economic Recovery, Growth and Development The first plenary session featured panelists who emphasized that integrating ESG principles is essential for driving value and attracting investments.
Businesses with strong ESG performance are more attractive to investors, and they're therefore better positioned to attract capital. We need it in Nigeria because of the ESG issues that we're dealing with as a country: inequality, power, flooding, climate change. And in any case, if it's a conversation happening at the global level, we can't be left out.
There's been a lot of focus around the E, and it's easy for many people to connect with the E and talk about issues around climate, around digital, and all of that. But the S issues are deeper. They are the issues that affect our customers, whether we are the SMEs or the large corporates.
Even as less than 5% of the population holds shares in companies, which poses significant risks to economic stability and security, looking at a population of over 200 million. Speakers pointed out the need for new business models that tackle social and financial inequality in Nigeria.
Inequality breeds insecurity and social unrest. Sustainability will remain unattainable unless we foster a more inclusive and equitable economic system.
A young lady who is in the furniture business came for one of our programs, and by the time she was through, she changed her business model. Instead of just producing new furniture, she said to also buy old furniture from people. Say, you can trade in your old furniture and buy a new one. The old furniture, instead of throwing them away, she remodels them into new furniture. And then that inclusion, diversity, but at the same time, converting waste to wealth.
Current financial flows into Nigeria stand at $8 billion, and one way to increase that portfolio by the year 2030, as projected, is for businesses to disclose risks related to their operations and maintain global sustainability reporting standard.
The rules are there. It's about transparency. It's about sustainability. It's about opening up and having a structured way a business needs to be run and be disciplined enough to play by the rule.
Environmental, social, and governance refers to a framework used to evaluate a company's operations and impact beyond financial performance. By incorporating this into structures and adopting global best practices, it is believed that businesses will better serve public good, ensure equity, and build legacies for a prosperous future. In Lagos for News Central, Lekon Onabanjo.
Welcome back. The Ghanaian police have filed charges against 3 persons suspected to be behind the kidnapping of 5 teenage boys from Nigeria who were then trafficked to Ghana, where they were subjected to inhumane treatment and criminal conspiracy. James Akon, also known as Mayor, who is one of the suspects arrested on Monday, following a successful collaborative effort between News Central and the Ghanaian police to rescue the victims, was taken to the Adentan court in Bafara, Ghana. News Central's special correspondent on investigative journalism, Marshal Anthony Ononye, tells us more.
The UN protocol on Article 3 or so speaks about human trafficking. And Ghana, we've codified it into our municipal law. That is our Human Trafficking Act of 2005. Yes, and there are other international conventions, like the International Convention for Civil Rights, ICCPR, and all that. All those rights are conventions and protocols that we ascribe to as a state. And for our constitution, to whenever there is any international protocol or convention, we assimilate it by passing a law to that effect, where it becomes part of our laws. You can't charge someone based on international protocol. It has to be assimilated into our local municipal laws. So basically, that's how this case here will play out.
This is Adenta Court Complex in Frafraha, Accra, Ghana, the court where charges have been brought against 3 persons: James Akon, also known as Mayor, Rick Daniel, also known as Chairman, and Jerry, who is currently at large. And these charges: conspiracy to commit crime, namely prohibition of human trafficking, contrary to sections 23, subsection 1 of the Criminal Offences Act 1960, Act 29, and the Human Trafficking Act 2005, Act 695 of Ghana. Now, these charges were brought against them when we followed the disappearance of two boys from their residence in Ikota, Lagos, Nigeria, Zeal and Daniel, who were both trafficked from their house to Nigeria to across the border, Ghana here, and New Central on top of that investigation led to the discovery and rescue of these two boys and several others who were found in their within their premises, the premises where they were held against their will. Now, these charges have been brought against the culprits who made appearance today. The charges have been taken to the High Court for allocation. Hopefully, at the start of work tomorrow, Friday, we would then begin to hear the case being called up in court. These boys too will, the determination as to whether or not these boys will be released to whomever that is concerned would also be done tomorrow. I am Marshal Anthony Onoye for News Central.
In East Africa, a Kenyan court on Thursday lifted an injunction that had temporarily halted the replacement of impeached Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua. The decision cleared the way for Interior Minister Kithure Kindiki to be sworn in as Kenya's new second-in-command. Gachagua was impeached by the Senate on October 17 after a rift with President William Ruto. While the Senate absolved him of various corruption charges, he faces allegations of promoting ethnically divisive politics. Following the impeachment, President Ruto swiftly nominated Kindiki, a 52-year-old former academic and influential politician, to assume the deputy president role. However, Gachagua managed to delay the transition by obtaining a court injunction while he contested his removal. With the injunction now lifted, Kindiki's swearing-in is set to proceed, marking a new chapter in Kenya's high-stakes political landscape.
Regarding whether the applicants will suffer any harm if the conservatory orders are not granted, we find that no individual can suffer loss or damage when the Constitution is permitted to operate as intended. Allowing the constitutional process to unfold does not in itself result in detriment, as it upholds the rule of law and respects the framework agreed upon the people.
The applications for conservatory orders are hereby disallowed.
Now let's join our business desk for today's business news.
Business news in association with Money Master PSB, the easy way to master your money. South Africa's Finance Minister Enoch Godongwana stated that a new inflation target is unlikely to be announced by February's budget. He emphasized, "I don't want to mislead you, and there will be an announcement in February," acknowledging uncertainty about the timeline. The South African Reserve Bank has pursued an inflation target since 2000, initially set at 3% to 6%, and is currently reviewing this goal. Governor Lesetia Kanyago has advocated for a lower target, suggesting it could lead to a permanent lower inflation and interest rate. Recently, the bank reduced borrowing costs to 8% as inflation eased to 3.8%, its lowest in 4 years. The final monetary policy decision of the year is scheduled for November 21. Cocoa growers in Ghana filed a complaint with the state's regulator, Cocobet, addressing critical environmental and social issues, including a demand for a living income for farmers. Signed by 30 farmers, the complaint highlights concerns over deforestation, child labor, and pesticide uses in the country, the world's second-largest cocoa producer. These grievances will test a mechanism established by Cocobot as part of a $600 million loan from the African Development Bank. The farmers argue that Cocobot must enforce higher prices to ensure a living income and eliminate child labor, while also demanding transparency in supply chains and a ban on harmful pesticides. Ghana's cocoa prices have surged, but many farmers still struggle to earn sustainable income. In the first 5 months of 2024, Aradale Holdings reported a net profit of 110.6 billion naira, a remarkable 477% increase from 19.2 billion naira in the same period last year. The interim dividend proposed for this period is 433% higher than the 6.5 billion naira distributed in 2023, reflecting a 31% payout ratio. Aradale's shares debuted on the Nigerian exchange group at 702.69 naira on October 14, but have since fallen 28.8% to 550.1 naira. Meanwhile, Seplat Energy posted a net profit of 52.8 billion naira, proposing a quarterly interim dividend of 3.6 US cent, while Oando PLC has been suspended from trading due to non-compliance with regulatory filing deadlines for its 2022 and 2023 financial statements.
And in sports, Super Eagles defender Semi Ajayi has been ruled out for up to 4 months due to a hamstring injury. Now let's join Favor Itwa for more updates.
Sports Update, brought to you by Corn Oil. Corn Oil, we go the extra mile.
And in sports, defending champion Rivers Hoopers crushed Lagos Legends 102-46 points to win their 5th consecutive game in the Atlantic Conference of the 2024 Nigeria Premier Basketball League in Benin on Thursday. Abel Ofia scored 23 points, Ifeanyi Ukoko scored 19, while Ikenna Okpaluba added 10 points. Ofia also made 6 3-pointers in a game they dominated all through with ease. The Chief of Defense Staff Basketball Championship MVP was in blistering form as Rivers Hoopers reached their first 100-point game of the competition. The Kingsmen are already through to the final 8 of the 2024 Nigeria Premier Basketball League. They will face Kwara Falcons and Hoops and Reed on Friday and Saturday in their final 2 conference matches. And now to the world of handball. Coach of the Nigeria's men's under-18 handball, Emeka Nnamani, has released his final list of players that will represent the country at the IHF Trophy Africa Men Continental Phase in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. The IHF Trophy Africa Men Continental Phase will hold at the Ethiopian Sports Academy in Addis Ababa from the 2nd of November through to 6th of November 2024, and the national under-18 handball team have been undergoing intensive training preparation under the watchful eyes of Coach Emeka Nnamani and assistant coach Joshua Olubato at the Roe Park Sports Center, Yaba, Lagos, ahead of the competition. The players include Captain Farouk Karim alongside the multi-talented Aziz Sulaiman Olaiton, who was the MVP of the 2023 Handball Premier League, and goalkeeper Samuel Obaburi, all from Toje Marine Academy. Others include Aliu Rufai of Correction Boys, Sulaiman Sani of Niger United, Musa Muhammad of Safety Shooters, amongst others. The team will travel on Friday morning from the Muritala Mohammed International Airport, Lagos. And out of football, West Bromwich Albion manager Carlos Koberan says Super Eagles defender Semi Ajayi will be out for 4 months following surgery on a hamstring injury. Ajayi picked up the injury during the baggage draw with Cardiff City on the 26th of October. The Super Eagles defender will miss next month's 2025 AFCON qualifiers against Benin Republic and Rwanda. He now joins defender Olisanda and winger Chidera Ijuke, who are currently sidelined due to injury. And to wrap up sports update, La Liga champions Real Madrid's match against Valencia, which was scheduled for Saturday, has been postponed after devastating flash floods in Spain. The Spanish Football Federation has postponed all matches in Valencia region, where at least 95 people have died and dozens more are missing after torrential rainfall. Villarreal's La Liga meeting with Real Vallecano has also been called off, along with 3 games in the Segunda Division. In Liga F, the women's top flight, Valencia's match against Deportivo La Coruña and Real Madrid versus Levante among the postponed fixtures. The RFF had received requests from La Liga, Liga F and the clubs themselves to postpone all professional matches in the area after the flash floods. Meanwhile, a mini silence will be observed during the weekend's games to show Spanish football solidarity for those affected. And that wraps it up on Sports Update. And Favor Itwa.
Entertainment news in association with Glow Unlimited.
Tonight on Entertainment News, Ara Star has officially surpassed Yemi Alade to become the most viewed Nigerian female artist of all time on YouTube, accumulating an impressive 811 million views compared to Yemi Alade's 805 million views. This remarkable achievement highlights Star's rapid rise in the music industry, particularly with her hit single Rush, which has garnered over 395 million views. This track not only showcases her talent but also marks a significant milestone as the most viewed music video by a female Nigerian artist on the platform, previously held by Yemi Alade's iconic Johnny. While Star has claimed the title for total views, Yemi Alade maintains her lead in subscriber count, boasting 2.41 million subscribers compared to Star's 2.26 million. This competition reflects the dynamic landscape of the Nigerian music scene, where both artists continue to inspire and influence fans. As Ara Star's popularity continues to grow, the future looks bright for this emerging star, poised to make even more waves in the industry. Chidinma Adesina, a Nigerian South African, is at risk of losing her national identity documents after failing to meet a deadline set by the South African government. On October 29, 2024, the government announced the cancellation of Adesina and her mother's documents due to the lack of response. Home Affairs Director General Tommy Makode stated that the department would proceed with the withdrawal in accordance with the Identification Act. Adesina faced backlash earlier this year, leading to her withdrawal from the Miss South Africa beauty pageant amid accusations regarding her citizenship and claims about her mother's identity. Following her withdrawal, she accepted an invitation to compete in the Miss Universe Nigeria pageant, which she subsequently won. Despite these achievements, the missed deadline put her and her mother's identification status in jeopardy. That's all on Entertainment Tonight.
Persons have been confirmed dead, several others injured in Oyo State building collapse. Rivers State Governor Fubara's administration has challenged judgment blocking federal allocations. We also told you the National Economic Council has urged President Tinubu to withdraw controversial tax reform bill, and also that Kenyan court has lifted injunction against removal of former Deputy President Gachagua. Now to remember, you can watch News Central live on DSTV channel 422, Star Times channel 274, Avo TV, and of course on YouTube. Many thanks for watching. My name is Mazino Appeal.